Hello everyone, Teacher here, and today we're going to take a look at the journey ahead that was just posted on the website. So if you're ready, let's take a look. So this is almost just posted, and let's have a look, read through it. I haven't read it already, so we'll go through it together. Hello Ringbearers, Nick Reinhardt, game director, yada yada. We are reviewing what we've done and how far we come with the game so far. Chapter 1, The Path So Far. It's been around 3 months since we launched the Lords of the Ring, Hero of Middle-earth, home, and since our last journey ahead it feels like a lifetime ago. We're really excited with how the game has gone so far, and especially the first raid in the game, Mites of Moria, and the entrance of one of the most recognizable and beloved characters, the Gandalf the Grey. As with most journeys, they are not all smooth, and while we encountered hiccups, that's a bit of an understatement. I'll be honest and say that. And bumps along the way. That's also a bit of an understatement. Kind of like when the walls of Helm's Deep blew up. Minor issue. Let's just do that analogy. So let's dive in and chat about our raid experience so far. As with any major feature release in the early days of a game life, there were some bumps. That goes without saying. While we've overcome some, others remain a work in progress, but overall the team and I are pretty happy with the raid and how the feeling of being in the mountains of Moria has brought to the game. I will say I really enjoy the raids to some extent. I really like the personal rewards. I know many people do not and feel scammed by that. I do not. Remember, they're giving us that for free, and in a different video we will be taking a look at those rewards, which are actually quite significant as a free-to-play player. But yeah, pretty happy. Few bumps. Yeah. We've been watching the data closely, coming in and seeing guilds reorganizing to be as effective as possible, while also testing out a variety of different squad and faction combinations. What's also been good to see are players trying and testing out the different difficulties, even if it's just to explore what the next difficulty looks like. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit more critical here and say we're trying out because it's really hard. That's why. Having a multiple attempt system for the raid allows players not only to test out difficulties, but also to judge their own performances and redo if they think they can do better. Basically, players get to show up at their best for themselves and their guild if they have time for it. That's my comment. While it's still early days for the Mites of Moria raid, as well as the raid in general, the observation so far has been close to our expectations on where we hope players would be, as well as progress through the raid so far. Okay, that's actually a little bit worrying for me that we are living up to their expectations, because many people are feeling they are below their own expectations, so there's a big mismatch here. And you could say, yeah, that's on the players or on the game, but this is a problem, honestly, because not having the same expectations, like people would expecting that they can get Gandalf shards very early. That is not the case, as other people have commented on, and I'll also be covering that at some point. We're still in the analysis phase and taking notes of course corrections that we'll be needing to make both short and longer term. Now, longer term, before I dive further into this, the raid shop, I think, is gonna be adjusted once we get closer to chapter 4 and everything, because what they've done now is basically just say we want it to be off limits and just focus on enjoying the raids. That's how I see it. So Gandalf shards and Gear 9 is basically for Uber whales, which are basically to a level that doesn't really exist. That's my opinion. So yeah. One area we see potential significant room for improvement is around the RNG nature of the Moria bomber in Chapter 1. Yeah, I cannot say how many times an 80% bomb has hit me. Like, that is super frustrating. Sometimes I feel overall 30% chance hits his team, the AI team, more than it hits my team. Or like say, a 30% hits his team more than an 80% hits his team. Like, it's insane. Your feedback has been heard, and we plan for tuning and changes in the future. Right now, our approach is to wait and see to avoid any knee-jerk actions, which might instead result in overcorrection and make a situation less desirable, albeit the opposite direction. Another area in which we had issue was around raid reward delivery. Yeah, I don't really care about that honestly. Like that's not the major one for me. We'll get our rewards. Some people are just impatient babies, honestly. We're building out better testing regimes around the part of the game and others where we want to focus on. How about fixing that we can actually see scores, so those of us in guilds that keep track of everyone and also ourselves, because we want to push content, can actually scroll without having the game forced close. Like I have to do it on BlueStacks just in order to see it, and it lags like hell. While it might be cold comfort after the fact, I do want to call out where we see our own mistakes, own them, and try to remedy them as we move forward. While I won't go into an extensive list of every mistake we found, that could be a nice list. I would like to see that. With all things, we're generally pretty happy with how the game has been so far. Okay, this is a big issue for me. I would like them to actually mention some of that here, because this is like a fake apology. You say publicly sorry, but you don't really mean it. That's what I'm seeing here. It's like a politician. Um, we're proud of the Mammoth team effort that's gone in to get us where we are now and the experience we're building. I can't wait for you guys to get your hand on the next chapters and more. Where's my Shadow Legendary? Throughout our time so far, we've been listening to the community thoughts and feedbacks, but you don't communicate, especially in game. I would like for them to do that better. That's also one thing that could go on the list. To that end, there's a couple takeaways from our side that we're committed to working on. Communication is one of them, and while articles like this Journey Ahead are key in keeping you informed on what's on the horizon for us together. I don't actually know if they posted or a link in this in game. Mostly, I got the link through the Discord in my someone posted from the official, but yeah, this is a big problem. You're not informing in game where most people are seeing it, so there's a big lag in there, and I really need that. I I would probably just skip it, but it's should be there. Like it's common sense for consumers. We are given our attention is so much on the actual development of the game. We'll work on trying to be better in what we show the community at the right times when we can in terms of accuracy and timing. Yeah, okay. Launch was especially exciting for us for a number of reasons. I'm not gonna go into what people said negatively about the launch and what was missing, etc. We were excited to get your hands on something we've been working on for a long time, but two bugs. There were several issues around the new player experience at launch. Critically, the new player tutorial had several issues, but we were able to resolve them quickly. We also acted decisively when it came to improvements on art, lighting, and animation. But these are minor things that are not really what people are wanting. They want in-game stuff. The game looks and runs better now than what it did at launch. I have not noticed that actually. A little bit maybe, but yeah, it's marginal. Thanks to our wonderful art and audio teams who've been working tirelessly on polishing and improving with every update. We've also been hard at work, not just on big things, but also on the small things we know that can make a difference in the quality of life department. XP, give me some of that, please. We're glad to hear the positive feedback about players being able to continue to find shards while their character waits to be promoted up. This is a nice PR spin on people saying they don't have the goal to actually level up. Not really gonna be that positive about the way they spin it. This is basically just people say, I need something to level up, but I don't have the gold, so I'm shard farming something else. Chapter 2, The Future to Come. Okay, I will say I am really confused about how they make the Balrog look, but okay. It is what it is. Like, it could be worse, I don't really mind it that way. I like the sword to some extent, but this feels really like other games. Raid, Shadow Legends, etc. Like to see Guru the Brute, who I think is actually amazing for Chapter 2. If you have him really well built, I think he could be great. While we are still very much in the depths of the Mines of Moria raid, there's plenty more in store. We think the next phases are pretty incredible, from cave trolls, more orcs. You'll see these are a bit different from the ones in Chapter 2, and a Balrog. You know what? Even Tolkien created illustrations of his world, so how about I just showed you that what visual explorations we have in mind for Chapter 4. Neutral mode, fire mode, shadow mode. So kind of like the troll going through some phases. I will say I anticipate something like that. I think that is more survival focused than the Troll is, where Troll is more for nuke. Um, oh, there's even more. We're almost at the end. It's always exciting to show off the incredible creative process of the team. I hope you are stoked to see our process as we are in showing it off. With that, let me transition on to what is further down the path for the next few months coming. That's good. This team will be working around three major things. First is bringing more characters and content to the game at large. We got some cool character ideas and notions coming up, along with our first characters from an alternative what if timeline. Okay, that's gonna be cool. We previously talked about what ifs coming to the game, and to be able to finally explore that is exciting. That is exciting. Up to this point, we've shown an alternative story of a previous unknown ring of power and characters that have been corrupted by a shadowy figure. Continuing that introduction, we're going to be showing characters that are from timelines of what could have been. To be clear, we're not going to be rushing out the gate, what if Gandalf cut the ring? Yeah, I like that. There's a lot of that on YouTube. But we got some more nuanced lore-based stories we think would be cool to explore. There's also ideas around events we're looking to introduce, and when would be the right time to do so. For clarity here, this doesn't mean that any of the events I've mentioned will come in the next few months, besides the rest of the Minds of Moria chapters. More so to let you know, we're definitely ideating tiers, things, and intend to explore the hypotheticals and what if relating to Lord of the Rings. Okay, that's cool, but I'm still missing something. I'm still missing some characters, like we know Gondor. That will be a different video, but yeah, we know Gondor. The second thing we're working on is the next major system we'd like to introduce to the game, glyphs. Glyphs will be a character personalization system that will modify and improve your character's combat stats and performances. Focus for Haradrim. To make it clear right away, this is not some fanciful things like funny hats or pink robes for Gandalf. Oh, I would love to see Gandalf in that. This will be a system that would give players the ability to make characters even more powerful, along with effects that will change the way they play in battle. Personally, really excited about the idea of the set bonuses, so kind of like gear from raid, like equips from raid, stuff like that. Set will give your characters different battle advantages that we're coming up with, and I think we have an interesting take on how stats will change in the game currently being explored. Not bad, but I would more give me my Shadow Legendary. The third element, which is already in its initial stages and is in pre-production, is a multi-squad PvP feature. This is something that the community will like a lot. We want something like this. Also because it helps and it synergizes very well with the raid. So this is actually really well thought of, and I would probably have led with that a little bit earlier for a tease, so people would come to this. As you collect more characters from key events, freestyle, WoW, woo, and the raid, and you make them even more powerful with the eventual glyph systems, no doubt you'd like a place where you can really play and enjoy your new souped up teams and characters. Multi-squad PvP would just be the beginning of where you could really flex your teams, as well as the start of a few different interlinked systems that will let you leverage your squad overall. It's certainly an interesting and exciting time for us as we think about the future of the game and where we're headed from here. And with that, we end this journey ahead. Thank you for continuing down the path with us as we look to the bright horizon this game has ahead of it. You're an awesome community, and we're so glad we get to play the game with you. Yeah. So the positive here, we will be getting multi-squad PvP. So we have something to actually use our teams for. This will really be good, and I hope they give us some good rewards for that. XP, of course, and it will probably introduce a new shop where we will see some characters be moved over to. We could get the Gear 9 there as well. Could be, maybe glyphs. Many different things, but there will definitely be a shop for that with some currency in that PvP. And hey, it could be another ladder system, and I would really, really love that because I'm struggling to get my gold 1 every day as I'm in shard 1. Glyphs, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel it's a little bit early because it's basically a way to make adjustments to something that you probably didn't plan perfectly or thoroughly ahead of. So that's that. a shadowy figure. I would love to see that. I don't remember all the cutscenes, but as I recall, it might be women. It might be a woman. Like I'm thinking, Arwen, Galadriel, or some of those. I believe I've seen it as when we saw the cutscenes in the game. If you didn't skip too far in when they did it in the chapters, I don't believe it's one of those two. I would actually love to see a Galadriel with the ring, but it could also be an elf. I think that will be the shadowy figure. Um, could be, yeah, Arwen or Galadriel. I think would honestly be cool. Galadriel as a really really strong one. Legend, like let's say she is legendary from the Haradrim. It's a cool way, and you get a unique character. That's also the thing. They have a leader ability already in the Haradrim. Mordor has always, in general, made more sense that the Witch King is tied to that. They're shoving a lot of offers down our throat with that. I'm kind of worried about that because I am wailing on Haradrim, and yeah, they will be doing Gondor, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, for now, interesting, and I actually like that they don't give us a date for chapter 3 in this text. I feel that should be a new one next week when we actually go into September. Then they release, and we know when. My guess is we would probably have 2 more attempts in chapter 2. The guilds who are first, like we are at most 3 days away from our third attempt. We're doing really well actually, and yeah. So I would say mid to end September, and my guess would be around the 20th, something like that. Between 20th September and end of September is when they would be releasing the third chapter, is what I would say. But yeah, anyways, that was it for now with this Journey Ahead post, and I'll be making some more videos soon, and I hope you enjoyed the game, and yeah, stay positive out there.